Welcome to the Baldwin Kids Podcast, a space dedicated to discussing politics and current events, mental health, nerd culture, and just about anything else.
Yeah, we're back again. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's a hot ass fucking mess.
Between the weather and the weather.
Let's not do the weather because
This is not Night Vale.
it was literally like 30 degrees one day. And what was it, like 60 or 70 or something the day before?
Tuesday, at least where I live, Tuesday it was in the high 80s.
Yeah.
And then by Thursday it'll drop down.
It was like 20 or 30, right?
By Thursday it'll drop down to a low of about 32. Fahrenheit, of course. If there's any, Celsius users listening.
My body was like, you know what? We didn't sign up for this.
You did not subscribe. You did not subscribe.
We did not subscribe to this bullshit.
Please.
Anyway. So I'm getting over some sickness, so if I sneeze into y'all's ears, I'm so sorry.
Anyway.
But I'll do my best.
So I am the fluorescent K.
And I'm the drippy Vesta.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Okay, so this is how we're starting. So, it's been a long 2 weeks, and clearly somebody somewhere knew that we were going to be switching to a bi-weekly format because
y'all are doing the most.
So, first off, let's start off with some good news. Can you feel a brand new day? No. Can you feel a brand new day? Van Dyke's bitch ass got convicted.
Like, hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, and not gonna lie, I was actually super anxious that entire day when I found out that they were gonna be announcing the verdict.
Because I was prepared for nothing.
Yeah, I was prepared for the city to burn.
Yeah, I was prepared for absolutely nothing.
Which is still on the table apparently.
Because don't they have like a
an extremely skilled lawyer?
Yeah.
Can probably lawyer his way into no jail time, just a lengthy probation time. In which case, yeah, city burn.
Yeah.
All that good stuff. Let's see. Speaking of police, though, did you hear about what happened in South Carolina?
No, I did not. Wait, that was the dude who shot up 4 or 9 or 10 police officers, right?
He shot 9 officers, killed 1, remained armed, and somehow, some way. Oh, wait. You want to know the icing on the cake?
What?
He had a criminal record, too.
Oh, so he had a criminal record, was armed, fired at police officers, and
killed one,
and didn't die.
And somehow managed to make him. They somehow managed to take him alive. Fancy that. I'm sure. Tamir Rice would love to hear about how that could have happened for other people.
Everybody the fuck.
But he's too busy being a 12-year-old in the afterlife.
Let's not go in on that again because we have plenty of chances to do so later. But how many names of people do we have etched on memorials and Facebook posts
and hashtags?
And hashtags. How many people do we have that had no history, no background, and are dead now?
Yeah. As a side note, speaking of police, the Fraternal Order Police, as far as I'm concerned, could deep throat a whole chainsaw.
Oh,
and the gas too.
And the gas.
Because they're demanding an appeal for Van Dyke. And I'm just over here
and I'm like, why?
Girl, I'll pay for your optometry appointment because, my God, if you can't tell that was intended, malicious, and excessive as hell.
Excessive, yeah.
I don't know what is. Because the fact of the matter is that for the uninitiated or the uninformed, Van Dyke got convicted for 1 count of second-degree murder and 16 counts of, I believe it was aggravated assault?
Yes.
Yeah, 1 for each bullet. And the man continued shooting the teenager
after he was
on the ground. And clearly not a threat. He was the only one shooting. So for the Fraternal Order of Police to still go, he's innocent.
Yeah, okay, sure, sis. Okay.
I should not have listened to the read.
Why?
Because the only thing I could think of is for some reason the Fraternal Order of Police sounded like Quavo. You got left over bad and bougie?
Oh God. Oh wow.
Anyway, let me stop.
What's a Quavo?
See,
Is that a condiment they serve it at Subway?
See, I was gonna be a music hoe and go something about a quaver, but we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna move on to telling the president,
Y'all, what did I say?
"Don't text me, you raggedy bitch."
When I said this on the podcast when they first announced that this was gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Internet, do not fail me." Making memes out of this fucking text alert. I was waiting for the memes,
and you were not
3
disappointed
weeks before it even happened, and I was not disappointed because
Black Twitter is a whole mess.
Oh my God, I was living. There were so many good ones, and I can't even remember them all. But one of them was like, it had the alert, but it was like Melania has been missing for 2 weeks. Please send help. That's one of my favorite ones.
Jesus. Yeah, it's just I'm already over it. I'm tired.
Like, have we not read 1984 before?
Clearly not.
Like, have we not read Brave New World before?
Oh, wait, wrong adjective. Never mind.
What were you gonna say?
Apparently, I'm in a singy mood today.
What were we gonna say?
A brave new world.
Ew, what? How about we not mix?
A new fantastic point of view.
How about we not mix an amazing novel with an average song? Ooh.
I'm just gonna move
on. I know
on.
there's a bunch of black aunties that played the soul version of that at their wedding that are gonna.
I have no idea what you're talking about, and I'm gonna move on because you were just being outright disrespectful. So we're gonna keep going on. We're gonna try to mix in more positive stuff because, frankly, all this doom and gloom is depressing as hell.
Yeah.
So there was a story that surfaced about a little girl dressing up as the notorious RBG.
Wow, you're fired. So what is that, like the 5th song we've referenced in like 10 minutes?
But an 8-year-old named Michelle Threefoot was Ruth Bader Ginsburg for her school superhero day, and that's already precious,
Right.
And then RBG actually sees that she's somebody's superhero.
Yeah.
And like you see this, like she looks just like her.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely precious. But RBG sent her a letter. I'm not gonna read it. It's just, basic, positive, sweet, adorable, precious, wholesome.
All that good shit that we love here.
Saying, you look just like me, may you continue to thrive on reading and learning. It's so cute, and it's handwritten.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
That's the cutest shit. Oh my God.
Yeah, and I know it's a bit of an old story, but like I said, we need
it.
we need more positivity because, oh honey. Anyway, so we're gonna move on to the deficit, which is
what is it, like triple or quadruple what they predicted it was gonna be, or something like that? I remember reading that somewhere.
Well, again, this is it's not looking like it's going to change anytime soon because this article is a little old, but the budget deficit is swelling to $898 billion.
Like, who are we owing this money to?
I don't know. Money is fake.
Like, how do we have it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Where's it going? And why can't
the
we
military?
get it
Obviously,
back,
because clearly we have a complex about the military, and I'm already over it. TBQH.
Yeah, let me sidebar, because I had someone come for me in like a private message after they heard the podcast talking about how we were disrespecting troops apparently.
Oh, why didn't you tell me? I would have read her for filth.
No, because I did it for you. But no disrespect to anyone who is going to, will be, is currently or former Army, Navy, military, and insert here. However, we are not going to pretend that
The troops haven't done atrocious things.
right, that just because you're a troop that you are automatically a hero. No, you're not.
That's the same
It's
thing.
what you do as a troop.
Yeah, and we have that same complex with police. Police are not faultless. Police are not blameless. Police are not perfect. In fact, all cops are bastards. But I'm not. I'm trying to be a little less spicy today. I'll save that for near the end.
What I actually, really quick sidebar, I actually had someone get mad because I said that on like a Facebook post one time on my personal Facebook, that I said, just because you're a troop doesn't mean you're a hero. Oh, someone tried to go in on me, and I'm like, however, that's cute and all that you have this hero complex about soldiers. It's honorable to an extent that you're willing to go and give up your life for the country. However, everything else you do while doing so under the name of the country is not just going to be erased just because you enlisted and you were on active duty. If you did honorable things and good things while you were on active duty, then yes, absolutely you are a hero. I will give that to you. But sure, but they don't just get a hero star just because they're in the military. Because let's not talk about Vietnam War when they like massacred an entire village of people for no good reason other than just because they could and felt like it. I'm done digressing off of that.
Yeah, so we're gonna keep it moving. I'm not even gonna dignify this with excessive time, aside from the fact that it's come to light that 45 is basically made of tax evasion.
Yep. Ain't new.
But we've been new. Kavanaugh got confirmed. Saw it coming a mile away. Despite all this other info that's coming to light and how shady everything is. Nope, got him confirmed.
No,
and they were super quick to get him confirmed. Meanwhile, Obama tried to appoint somebody more than a year before his presidency
And they
was
put
over.
a roadblock at every step.
And they weren't even subtle about it. They're saying, we are going to resist any and everything that you try to appoint.
Yeah. Real sidebar, quick sidebar. I saw a meme when they showed the fucking Supreme Court nomination, or the Supreme Court like photo of all of them, and it just showed a man drunk, passed out on the floor.
Because he loves beer. Anyway.
Enough of that bitch. Next
Yeah.
one.
Speaking of bitches, though, can we come back to the fact, because I just realized this, or remembered this, can we come back to the fact that I have yet to see anything on any news source about the cops that were with Van Dyke, who lied on him, or lied for him, and deleted footage and covered for him and stuff. Like, isn't there a charge or something for that? Isn't that like obstruction of justice or perjury or something?
That's
something.
It's all of those things.
Some legal folderol or something that.
That's all of those things.
Because.
What are we gonna do about that, huh?
And nothing, because cops, especially because Chicago cops.
Yeah.
But I digress. Rest in peace, Laquan McDonald. That's the name that we should be remembering, not his murderer's name.
Exactly. Whatever her name is.
Okay. Oh, girl. Melania.
Girl.
Okay, first of all, her whole trip was aggravating me. Well, less her specific trip was aggravating me, more the way that news sources put it in the headlines that Melania Trump to visit Africa.
She went to go visit every continent in Africa.
Okay, Raven.
Like, bitch, which one?
Yeah, Africa is a continent made up of dozens of countries.
Right. Which one, bitch?
Like, if the headlines were more along the lines of, is to visit multiple countries in this region, that region.
Like, all right.
Multiple northern countries, multiple central countries, multiple...
It'd be like, yeah,
Several.
we don't know why you're doing this.
Other than to try to look like Michael Jackson in the Smooth Criminal video.
Well, I was going to say that. She was
And yeah,
going to
okay.
Africa to make sure
Danny was okay. And then had the nerve to show up in a British pith helmet, which sounds like next to nothing, but
Given the history,
it's a huge colonial relic and needed to not happen. And she has the nerve to be like, "I'm the most bullied woman in the world."
girl.
Oh no,
Girl,
can we,
you're only first lady because you had tits that Trump liked. Don't play.
And further black ass more, can we talk about the fact that Michelle Obama got dragged on an hourly basis got dragged
for
in a,
existing.
and got dragged on a racist basis
For existing.
because she kept getting called monkey this, ape that, gorilla this.
Man, they made fun of the fact that she had like what was it, like her arm, like she had stronger arms.
She has
like,
toned arms because she works out because she's trying to get everybody to
God, you guys,
like
women having toned arms.
like
It's
she's
an
just
attack
trying
on
to
masculinity.
she is just trying to have some junk in the trunk and make people eat radishes. That is like what? Oh, don't tell me you didn't see that. What was
Yes,
it?
I know what that is. I just pictured like a campaign poster for her where it's like Obama 2020 ass and radishes.
Ass radishes. Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Oh, glory to blackness, y'all. Glory to blackness.
So clearly, we're gonna have to title this episode "Ass Radishes."
Ass radishes.
Oh Jesus.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, no. Melania needs to stick to. She needs to stick to plagiarizing Michelle's speeches and squinting like she's Orochimaru.
You can't hop off of ass and radishes and bring up Orochimaru right after. She looks like she's straight out of the manga, bitch. I can't deal with it.
Okay, so I had one more thing about Georgia Baby. What is you doing? Because they're like expunging black and brown voters left and right. But you know what?
And they're also having Klan rallies, which is unfortunately not news to me because happens way too often in the places, not only in the South but in places you would think are very progressive.
But
I see you, Bay Area, California. Y'all ain't slick.
Yeah, but we're gonna leave on it. We're gonna go on a break off of a more giggly note because we've got Orochimaru hissing around,
hissing around every continent in Africa, wishing she could serve asses and radishes.
Stop. Okay, on that note, we are gonna take a break and serve you some musical stylings.
What are we doing again? I forgot.
You know what? We can give some credits after the music is playing.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll just let it be a little bit of a surprise, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Oh,
And welcome back, guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
Yeah.
That song you just heard was called Falling
Yeah.
by, what was their name again?
Thunder Thief is the name. Very talented, but it was a remix by my sugar baby, Mr. Fahrenheit.
So, hope you enjoyed that. We are going to be moving on to our mental health bit. And with said mental health bit, as always, comes the little disclaimers that we are two idiots with a couple of mics, some recording software, some opinions, and a lot of jokes and trauma.
Yes.
So, take what we say with a whole planet assault.
Planet.
Yeah,
No.
I'm just going to keep coming up
Just
with,
gonna keep
more...
getting bigger and bigger.
I'm just going to... No. It's not going to keep getting bigger. I'm going to come up with other collective nouns. Next thing could be a murder of salt. Could be a herd, could be a herd of salt. Could be a gaggle of salt.
I vote for murder of salt.
Ooh, what about a flamboyance of Himalayan pink salt?
No, bitch. This is not Whole Foods.
Not with that attitude.
Don't say it's a Whole Foods. I love you guys, but season your food. Anyway, what are we talking about for the mental health bit?
All right. So on today's episode, we are going to be actually discussing the multifaceted face of masculinity, focused on, black masculinity, but masculinity overall.
Yes.
Part of this was actually inspired by another podcast that I started listening to fairly recently. Thanks to my job, I'm a bit of an avid podcast listener myself. So shout out to A Different Perspective by Dr. Amber Thornton, which focuses a lot on, black folks and mental health.
Yes.
Which is not something that's seen often. In fact, a little bit in the episode I was listening to, which was, I believe, either number 34 or 36. I know I listened to them both.
She went talked about that for like 2 episodes, yeah.
Yeah. But one of the doctors that she interviewed was saying how he was so happy to, have his profession because for a lot of his patients, he is the first black male psychiatrist that they've seen. Which, first black anything in 2018 is already sad.
Yes.
But, baby steps. Mm-hmm. So anyway, just kind of discussing mental health and masculinity and all of that. The conversation will kind of get a little amorphous. Yeah. So just to start with, what does yours look like? How do you, if you're feeling like you're displaying your masculinity, how does that come off?
It's such a weird question to me.
It really is. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. Mine is like I definitely carry myself with a masculine of center energy, if you will. While I'm not exactly ascribed to being purely masculine or male, long story, don't at me. I will block you. My block button has been itching for a new massage. But no, that's something I'm still working through, and I'm sure it'll pop up in a later episode. Right. But I do what I want, and I still claim my own masculine energy. If that means me being nurturing and gentle with those that need me to be nurturing and gentle with, and so be it. On the other hand, a bitch can still pull a whole 20,000-pound truck.
Listen, that is a sight to behold, you guys. I'm just gonna. So.
Okay. Do I need to go get you a glass of? Do I need to go get you a glass of water?
Pulled a whole ass U-Haul truck with it was I think you had a rough start in the video that I saw. You were having a rough start.
Yeah, I had a rough start because it was a whole ass truck.
Fair enough, but with relative ease, I would say, compared to most fucking people.
Compared to most of you mere mortals.
Oh wow, Kratos is in the building, yo. Get your pussies wet. But anyway, boy.
I do not know.
No.
Anyway, I've just been having a lot of fun with my voice today.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but I would say some of the same. Although most of my life I haven't really gone and shown any what most people consider traditional masculinity.
Because why?
Quotation marks, whatever. Because I am an overly sensitive I test very sensitive guy, and I get
which is why you're Blue Diamond.
hardcore, y'all. Steven Universe fans, I am Blue Diamond because I will check a bitch if she wants to get out of line. Cookies to anyone who knows what that reference is, and something bad will happen, and I'll literally just start crying about it.
Meanwhile, I'm Yellow Diamond all day because I am that bitch, TM.
Yeah, like you guess that could tie into the masculinity bit. How about that segue?
Look at that.
Look at the Lord. So, because I'm so sensitive, I used to get made fun of a lot for that. Because I've had some of the phrases thrown at me, men aren't supposed to. Just that in general, men aren't supposed to. Boys don't cry. Just relatively, just don't show emotion if you feel it. You just kind of have to push through it and tough it out and be a man about it. My least favorite fucking
something Music Soul Child is popping up.
Who? I'm just kidding. I love Music
Soul
Child.
Don't do that.
I love Music Soul Child. He's amazing. But that idea of thinking is very. That'll fuck you up if you don't kind of open your mind, like, step out of the boxes your family's put you in or your society puts you in. You that'll fuck you up. I feel like, really quick sidebar I'm not going to go into, I feel like that's why a lot of people, men in general, have trouble dealing with their sexuality if it's anything other than straight. Like,
that's exhausting.
Not going for the people who have accepted their sexuality and are DL in the closet about it.
Which, yeah.
I'm not talking about y'all. Y'all are a whole nother bottle of mimosas to drink down on.
Okay.
But I'm talking about the conflicting feelings of, but I'm not supposed to because insert years of pounding a false idea of masculinity. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a thing that affects how you behave, how you treat other people, how you react to other people's ideals that are other than your own. It stems from that, not just that, of course, but that's a thing that it's a problem that stems from ideas of masculinity. And in my honest opinion, just do whatever the fuck you want, man. That's if you want to talk about masculinity, femininity, whatever the fuck, just do what the fuck you want. And then that's your masculinity or your femininity or you're neither. Or you're both of them. Like, it's just being yourself, honestly, without listening to what other people say you should be. And a lot of people don't really get there. And it's hard to watch sometimes. You when you have like friends in like in like high school or middle school, and you just kind of have to sit there and watch them live in that and never leave it.
Yeah. We're gonna actually move on because I had more notes, but they are refusing to come up right now. So, yay, technology. Yeah. So we're gonna keep moving on. One of the things that popped up again in that same podcast that I was listening to was the idea of black men having issue fitting in and having a greater purpose in society overall, especially those of us who don't fit the archetypical mold of masculinity.
Right.
So those of us that don't have the deep voices, don't
deep
slang
voices,
that
broad shoulders, strong arms.
Stuff like that. Just trying to find a place and not really having one because you're too soft for the thugs and too hard for the queens.
Yeah.
So something I get to deal with a lot.
Yeah, I feel like that's not only it, especially from as a person of color. I feel like just that alone already makes it hard for you.
In the gay community.
In the gay community, in any community, really, that makes it just hard for you in general.
Mm-hmm.
When you add that with not fitting into the boxes.
And maladaptive tendencies.
Right. When you don't do that, it gets harder for you. I'm glad you brought up the gay community because that is the consistent perpetrator of this. If you either got to be, what are the terms? I'm blanking on all of them except for bears. You gotta. It's so counterintuitive to me, especially when I lived in San Francisco. It was a lot of my friends frequented like the big bear events where everybody was either wearing nothing or a harness or
Jock straps
or whatever the fuck.
And
But you gotta look a
beards and
certain
body
way.
hair. Beard, you gotta have a beard.
You have a beard.
Body
You gotta be
hair.
into leather. You gotta be into
Or leather, vinyl, rubber, some kind of.
You gotta be into some freaky shit.
Not always.
It's more consistent than not.
Maybe out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's in a lot of like, especially like the bigger like.
Well, then
bear communities.
I'll have to see about finding some stuff for you in this area.
Yeah, because bitch, y'all can come at me for being vanilla, quote unquote, but vanilla tastes really good with chocolate chips. Y'all can eat my ass about that.
Is that a pun?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway.
But yeah, it's very counterintuitive, and if you don't, you gotta act and dress a certain way if you're gonna be a part of the tweet community. And if you're in between, then you're an otter, and that's a weird label to throw on people too, because sometimes people don't fit in that, where you're just an older, hairier twink, basically. Like, it's.
What's that thing you posted about being young, gay, and mean, not being a personality?
Yeah, being young, gay, mean, and gay is not a personality. I feel like that's shade toward twinks though, because
some of these girls though. But anyway, let's try to stay on topic though.
Yeah,
what about the whole masculine habit of bottling things up because we're not allowed to feel?
I am such a horrible perpetrator of this.
Ironically.
Oh my god.
Even though you're the one, even though you're the one who readily bursts into blue diamond mode a lot more easily.
That's only in recent years though, because if I'm gonna be transparent, for a long time, from like a younger, like late, like middle school to high school, I bottled everything up. If I was feeling bad that day, it was because of me. I didn't talk about it. If I bottle a lot of shit up, and that will fuck you the fuck up, because that's like a glass that you just keep filling with shit. And if you don't watch how much shit you're putting in that glass, and you don't drink it down every once in a while, that shit will spill over
and explode
and flood your life. Because it could be the smallest thing. I remember my history teacher explained this to me, and that's where I first heard it. Shout out to Mr. Denman. Love you, dude. He was like, yeah, sometimes a really small event could happen. It could be like you accidentally tore a sheet of paper you were drawing on. He used me as an example. And that will send you over the edge, and you'll spill out every fucking thing you were mad about for like the past 6 months.
Yeah, because we never really have the permission to feel.
Right.
And I mean, sometimes that can be afforded us by celebrities. I mean, perfect example, excuse me, is Jay-Z with his whole 444 album.
Which is a bop. Y'all need to buy it.
Because the whole thing was explaining, how he felt, his whole side of the whole cheating thing. I haven't listened all the way through it yet, but there's that. There's also Kid Cudi. I think this was like 2-3 years ago, where Cudi checked himself into a mental hospital to try to get some help, which is something huge to see another black man do, and do it publicly at that.
Right.
That's part of the reason why I don't fuck with Drake. Because Aubrey tried to.
We see you, Degrassi.
Because Aubrey tried to clown him.
For
that was checking
annoying.
himself in.
That was annoying.
Calling him weak and stuff, and that just kind of contributes to the whole, masculine image that we try to portray. And then, let's not even get into the people saying that, you and I's existing, is detrimental and emasculating to the image of the black man.
Emasculating the black man.
Just because we like dick from time to time doesn't mean that the image of the black man overall has changed.
Right
now,
it does.
Right now, I'd like to not have a unified image of the black man, because that's the biggest fucking problem in the motherfucking first place.
Right. I've had people tell me that. Like, I've had friends, quote unquote, that oh yeah, you're totally okay with you being gay. They'll post this whole Facebook status about how black gay men are like an issue, and it's like, I'm sorry, do you not know who can see this? Because bitch, I will tear the got to be glue off of your hair, take all your edges off, because I'm not the one to be coming at me with some bullshit about how I, being myself and doing what I want to do, is emasculating to the black man. Somehow, just that this is me liking dick. Oh no, fucking up the image of the black man. I'm sorry. Where? How? Just because you want to fit into the same molds that the slave owners were giving us and told us what we were supposed to be? Are we gonna go there? Because that's where this all really comes. It's all when it comes down. A lot of shit stems from slavery era. And the ideas of what a man and a woman should be and should do stems from that.
But it was so long ago.
Not left titty.
It was so long ago. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And then speaking of which, we can just touch on my favorite trend that's I'm hoping actually fully dies soon.
Which one?
The no homo nonsense, and it's related.
Is that still a thing?
It's mutated into pause.
What?
If somebody says something that could be construed as something you should say no homo after, somebody else says pause.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a regional thing or not, Mr. California.
No homo was still a thing in California.
Gross.
It irked me. And I'm like,
gross.
I'm sorry. I thought we weren't 12 years old still.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's the whole, double standard of men not being able to express affection for one another. Meanwhile, we've got these girls who are completely straight, strictly dickly, and having whole ass sleepovers and makeovers and pillow fights and shit.
And then they'll be at fucking sleepovers talking about their fucking feelings.
Yeah.
And working through their shit together.
And meanwhile,
whereas men, no, we gotta play fucking
Call of Duty.
What is that fucking shitty basketball game?
2K.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Whichever 2K flavor.
Because they're all the same with different graphics. Y'all eat my ass. But
different graphics and the occasional different play mechanic. Let's give credit where credit is due.
Higher def Jordan sponsorships or whatever.
Oh, girl. Anyway. Yeah, it's just
that needs to change, and it's
like,
changed a lot.
If you want to talk about, something that's going to change the masculine image, let's start getting rid of that.
Yeah.
So that way we are allowed to express what we're feeling and what we're going through openly without having anything called into question, because that just is detrimental. That's not going to help anybody.
And furthermore, find yourself by doing so. You get to know who you are.
Yeah, and then once you know who you are, you can show your friends who you are, and then they can
believe you.
Damn it!
First time. Were you about to do that?
Yeah. God damn it! I was definitely about to do my Maya Angelou.
This bitch and his impressions.
My impressions and my singing. I'm a regular Broadway bitch.
I love it. It's the best. Go on.
Okay, so that is actually just about it on our mental health bit. Shall we take another break?
Yeah.
And I believe we actually have a submitted song this time.
Yes, it is by one of my favorite people. I know him personally. His name is Oscar Maine. She was about to be on, what was it? One of the Idol shows, whichever one is still somewhat relevant today. He was about to do it. His name is Oscar Maine, and the song is called Patience.
All right, so we will give you a sample of that, and we'll be back shortly.
I have to admit that I don't, baby, that I don't know how to love. But if you let me try, I promise I will never let you down. 'Cause all I need is patience. All I need is patience. All I need is patience. And somebody like you that always sticks around. 'Cause all I need is patience. All I need is patience. All I need is patience. From you 'cause I'm not here to waste our time, no. Wake up trying to figure something something out. Anything just to keep you around. I hate the feeling that I get when I don't have you by my side. Every step I make I wonder why. This love inside of me so hard to find. But you're the highest mountain that I'm never ever scared to climb. Cause all I need is you, baby, you got that something. And you know I need that something. In you I will find the answers. You know I'm nothing here without you. Please don't let me be without you. I don't wanna be without you. You should let me love you. Let me be the one to give you everything you want and need. Oh, show me how to love. All I need is patience. All I need is patience. All I need is patience and somebody like you that always sticks around. 'Cause all I need is patience. All I need is patience. All I need is patience. We're making some like here to waste our time.
And welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that. So, we're going to be moving on to our nerd culture segment.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Vesta is like quivering with excitement because we went to go see Venom.
Surprise, I'm actually not. After seeing this 3 times, I have more quarrels than when I left the first time I saw it with you.
Because the first time I'm sure was just dripping in
Yes.
Venom drip.
Yes. So, spoilers to anyone who hasn't seen Venom yet, but
Yeah,
I'm spoiling a lot. So,
Lots and lots of Venom spoilers. Be thou warned.
So, here's what I'll give the movie that you probably won't be able to input on. They got so much right from the comics that is amazing. This is the first comic movie I've seen in recent memory that has stuck this close to the source material. They had to take some liberties with taking 2 or 3 different comic storylines and melding them together into one origin story. That's no easy task, and it kind of shows in the movie. But they did really good. Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock was amazing. Tom Hardy as Venom was hilarious. Riz Ahmed as Carlton Drake, he was spot the fuck on, if not more terrifying than the actual Carlton Drake was. Michelle Williams as Anne Wayne.
And we're not talking about Destiny's Child Michelle Williams.
Yeah, whichever one that is.
Or, Tekken Michelle Williams.
Michelle Williams as Anne Wayne was actually really smart because Anne Wayne actually fucking did something.
Actually, wait, no, that was Anna Williams, not Michelle Williams that I'm thinking of from Tekken. Anyway.
Okay. But here's some things. Oh, also the inclusion. They made Riot, who was a very, very side character in the original story. Short rundown. Anybody who doesn't know, in the comics, Life Foundation takes the Venom symbiote that Eddie already has after he moves to San Francisco and force breeds it to make 5 more to give to its most highly trained whoever the fuck. In this movie, the Life Foundation and Carlton Drake are doing the same thing, except they take the symbiotes from the planet or comet they came from, and they only manage to get 2 actual symbiosis in the movie. Eddie and Venom being one, and Carlton Drake and Riot being the other. Carlton Drake and Riot are 2 different people in the comics, but in this they made them the same person. Riot was scary and intimidating, and I'm sad he doesn't get anything else because he's dead now. But here's what I don't like about the movie.
Oh boy.
There are so many plot holes because of this rating change they pulled last minute, and you can see it. There's several moments that I watched again. Like I said, when I was paying attention more, like in the second and third viewing, they just straight over dubbed shit and didn't care if it matched up with lip syncing or not. And there was multiple instances where they either were cursing or saying something different,
or something spicy overall.
Yeah. Or they would just cut it and make it be, PG-13 friendly. which is the dumbest crock of shit I've heard, because spoilers for the ending scene, Cletus Cassidy is introduced, and everybody who fucking knows who that is knows that is Carnage. And Carnage is a serial killer. Cletus Cassidy is a serial killer. Carnage is just a mass murderer. How are y'all... Unless y'all just go have him throw fucking spaghetti sauce at people in the next fucking movie. There's no way to make it. There's no way to fucking make that PG-13 in the slightest. Plot holes
galore.
They claim they only had 3 symbiotes at the end, but after watching it three times through, there was like 7.
7? I counted 6.
Yeah, it's 7 because of one of the first ones that died. There was a lot. More than 3. I feel like there
was Venom, Riot, the
yellow
blue one, the blue one that died, the yellow one that got in the rabbit,
and then there was another blue one.
There was a green one that died with a human.
There was another blue one because remember they killed Dora the scientist with another blue one, and that one died. There's a lot of continuity because I feel like there was supposed to be more symbiotes than just Venom and Riot in this movie,
but they got cut.
And they cut it.
But I'm sure, back to the positive stuff, you were just gushing because She-Venom made an appearance.
Y'all, listen, I knew because I was just expecting them to just go Anne Wang, make her be the kind of Mary Jane Gwen Stacy of this movie. This bitch. So Eddie gets separated from Venom, and Carlton Drake's crew gets Eddie, and the symbiote bonds with this fucking annoying ass fucking dog.
It was a little papillon.
Yeah, and sees it. So then it goes to Anne, and Anne, I don't know how she just got this understanding from the dog, but she gets the symbiote from the dog, becomes fucking She-Venom, and whoops ass for like 10-15 seconds with her big titties and hourglass waistline and all. When she hit him with that "Hello, Eddie," I was like, "Bitch, I like dick, but I might like pussy tonight."
You are doing so much right now. You are doing way too much right now already.
Minor plot line. Like, I have a lot of theories about, like, there's a lot that they cut out, and I feel like Anne wasn't looking at the dog in the first cut of this movie. Because if you watch her eye line, she's definitely looking at somebody and not down on the floor at a dog. That could just be really bad framework, but it looked like she wasn't looking at that dog. Mm-hmm. There was a lot more going on between Carlton Drake and Dora the scientist than they let on. Because in that first scene, when they're talking and they first get the symbiotes, like there's a lot of tension between them. Mm-hmm. That there's way more going on than just he has her on his leash. Mm-hmm. There was something else going on there. I also felt like she wasn't supposed to die. Either she wasn't supposed to die, or you've seen the movie, so hear me out. When Riot / Carlton Drake when they were launching the ship, and the one scientist kind of looks at him when he says, "I won't be alone," and then immediately starts to look at how to stop the launch. Mm-hmm. I feel like there was a scene between when Dora got the symbiote attached to her and when she died. Because she was locked up in a room and she was in the volunteer clothes when she died. She wasn't in her doctor's outfit. Mm-hmm. I feel like there was a scene where she either was talking to the other 2 doctors that were monitoring her, and they were all sort of rebelling against him at this point because he was literally just murdering people for the sake of symbiosis. Mm-hmm. So I feel like she said something to them, or they all came to agreement. They were like, "This symbiote's not going to equalize with me. Let it die." I feel like that's what happened. Because even then he's like, "Oh, why did you guys stand around and let it die?" Da, 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 da. And there's no good reason why they would unless they were in with her and talked to her about it, or they were already planning a revolt against him in the first place. Which adds up to the doctor or the launch dude at the end trying to find up, like launch pad and stuff. That's just headcanon with me. Another plot hole that irks me is at the very end, Venom blows up the ship, kills Riot, kills Carlton Drake, and he says, "Goodbye, Eddie," and shields him from the fire. And they make you think with the music and the swelling and everything that Venom's gone. The next scene, he's talking to Anne, and Anne's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about Venom," they're talking. And then, all of a sudden, you just hear Venom, "Oh, look at her," and you're like, "Excuse me? Why are you still here?"
she
Like,
food?
you said what?
Is she food?
Venom's one-liners in this
Why not?
movie are legendary.
Duck.
My favorite that Mariah reminded me of and kills me every time I see it was when he's first talking to the doctor and Anne on the phone. And he's like, would this parasite be able to make you
Parasite?
no, not that. Just make you climb a really, really tall tree, but like super duper fast. And Venom's like, yes, we just did that. That's my favorite one. Oh, we're going to work on trying to get that symbiote out of you. Never going to happen. Venom is amazing. Tom Hardy did an amazing job as both Eddie and Venom in that movie. Another quick sidebar. This is a really long rant about Venom. You haven't talked at all.
I'm letting you go because I've got my own nerdy culture thing. So go, by all means, go nuts.
So then, a character I was excited for was one of the 5 Life Foundation symbiotes. Her name was Scream, known as Donna Diego. When they announced the stunt actress, what is her last name? Her name is Michelle, and she's done a lot of she did the motion capture for the most recent Tomb Raider, and she did Ellie in The Last of Us, and she did a lot of motion capture stuff. And I immediately assumed, oh my god, this bitch is about to be Donna Diego. She's going to be Scream. Scream's going to be a villain in this movie. It turns out she wasn't. She just played an EMT that was just a host to Riot, for about 5 minutes before she was gone from the movie. I was very upset about that. Mm-hmm. However, the Scream symbiote does show up in the movie, and that's the yellow one that bonded to the rabbit. It had Scream's colors on it, which is why it equalized with the rabbit. So whatever symbiote it was presumably still alive. So there's hope for a Donna Diego Scream cameo in the future, but who knows?
Yeah, that's kind of the good and bad thing at the same time about all the plot holes, that leaves a lot more material for a sequel.
Yeah, and Tom Hardy's already signed on for 3 movies so far, I think.
Wow.
So the second one's definitely got to have Carnage in it. But my real question is, after Carnage, what are you doing for the third one? My theory is that they're bringing Mr. Negative in for the third movie.
No, Jesus.
Because
you just want to see him in real life because you were thirsting. You were thirsting after him on that game.
Listen. Mr. Negative.
I can hear the thirst.
Can negate this.
No.
Pussy.
No.
Anyway.
I hate that word.
I know.
I hate that
it's
word.
It's such an ugly word, but it's so fitting. But I say that because one of the alternate versions of Venom in the comics is Anti-Venom, who is basically just a skinnier Venom that saves Eddie from cancer, pretty much. And it's
it's Deadpool? Oh, wait, no. Never mind. There's some kind of weird cancer Marvel connection thing. What? That's how Deadpool got his powers.
Yeah, I know, dude. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Deadpool. I'm sorry, y'all. I like the first movie, but I'm not a huge Deadpool dick rider. I've liked Deadpool for years in the comics.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead and her girlfriend are just too precious.
That's the best part of the movie.
And Ryan Reynolds literally is Deadpool. They could not have cast better.
Yeah, because he's wanted to play Deadpool for years after they had him play bullshit Deadpool the first time.
And also Green Lantern, which, appearance-wise, I
forgot that was a movie.
He made a joke about it in Deadpool.
Mm-hmm. He did.
But no,
I appreciate that.
Appearance-wise, Ryan Reynolds looks just like Hal Jordan.
Isn't Hal Jordan the black one?
No, that's Jon Stewart.
Thank you. But I say because Anti-Venom comes about because of his interactions with Mr. Negative. And all the exposure to his energy literally negates the symbiote, so it's alternate black and white. I really hope that Anti-Venom shows up, but I also don't know who the villains would be at that point, because Venom only has so many villains. But it was a good movie. It wasn't the greatest movie. That rating change fucked this movie all the way up, and I'm very upset that they did it again. This is not the first time they've taken a Todd McFarlane creation, said it was going to be R, and then changed it to PG-13. Here's to you, Spawn, because that movie would have been a million times better if it was an R-rated movie.
Oh yeah, because Spawn is supposed to be like vicious and brutal.
The HBO animated series went R, and it was violent, and it was gory, and it was dark, and it was gothic. Everything it should have been. The 90s movie? Much love to Michael Ealy and everybody else in that movie, but that movie could have been so much better if it had more violence in it. And I hope they go R with the second Venom movie, because Carnage and Woody Harrelson and his fucking Hello Annie wig are gonna fuck shit up.
His dollar store Annie shake and go.
I actually forgive it. That's the one way I do forgive in this movie is his.
I guess
just because I watched it I watched it 3 times. I'm like, it's actually not horrible. It could have been like Anne's, who literally had the same hairstyle the whole movie, and she went to bed with it. That's what was so unrealistic.
We're not going to talk about her wig.
Who goes to bed with their hair? Venom is a good movie. Go see it. So, what's on your Nerd Radar, fam?
So, I got introduced to a new update that's supposed to be dropping for Warframe soon.
Oh boy!
Oh boy, indeed.
This is related to the... You showed this to me, eh?
I believe I did, where they started off with like this Chain Gang song.
Oh, so good.
Which I wish I could remember the melody to right now, because I'd probably be humming it.
It's a good song.
But a romantic interest of mine showed me this half-an-hour gameplay video of it, and...
Bitch, I don't even play Warframe, and I was like looking at this like, holy shit.
Like, my body is ready.
It looks so good.
Okay, so, a few months ago, maybe about a year or so, my memory of the time frame's a little messed up right now. Digital Extremes. Well, you know what? Let me take a step back, because I'm sure some of you girls do not know what Warframe is. So, if you would bear with me. Excuse me?
I said I'm one of those girls. I'm not like, I don't know exactly what Warframe is. I get the gist of it.
Yeah,
but it's not like I'm not like devout into the lore like you are.
Yeah, okay. So let me give you just the short version from the Wikipedia. Warframe is a free-to-play cooperative third-person shooter video game developed and published by Digital Extremes. Originally released for Microsoft Windows in March 2013, it was later ported to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and soon the Nintendo Switch on November 20th. In Warframe, players control members of the Tenno, a race of ancient warriors who have awoken from centuries of cryosleep to find themselves at war in a planetary system with different factions. The Tenno use their powered warframes along with powerful weapons and abilities to complete missions. The game includes elements of shooting and melee games, parkour, and role-playing games to allow players to advance their Tenno character with improved gear.
I hated every second of that.
Why? Why? Because I went full announcer voice.
Yeah, I hate it. It's just you're fired.
No, I'm not. Okay, so Warframe's been around for going on 6 years. I got my PS4 in 2014 and started playing it. It was still pretty bare bones at the time, but it's still a free-to-play game. The short version, it's a third-person shooter, and you're a space ninja.
Yep.
That's the easiest way to describe it. Space ninja, space warlock, occasionally space tank, depending on which frame you pick. I started playing it right before they started adding cinematic quests, and it went from good to awesome. And the best part is that the game is still free $99.
Wow.
Now, granted, you are able to purchase a lot, and there are certain things that are locked behind a paywall. However, don't roll your eyes. The things that are locked behind a paywall are strictly cosmetic.
Right.
Like you're not gonna get like some unholy super weapon just for buying it.
Take hints, gaming companies. That's what you do.
I mean,
you don't make shit that helps you progress in the game.
I mean, if some people
money.
If some people could put less, focus less on the money and more on their electronic arts, we'd probably get some better video games.
Ooh, EA Sports, y'all can't make games.
EA Sports, challenge your wallet.
EA Sports, what's a game?
Anyway, so long story short, Warframe's been a game that I've been playing pretty regularly for a while. I like it. I enjoy it. I have around 24 frames, just about as many primary weapons, about half as many secondary weapons, a shit ton of melee weapons. I have pretty much all the planets unlocked and everything. I really like it. Here's where I'm like super excited for this. They're releasing an expansion called, well, a little while back they released an expansion for it called the Plains of Eidolon, which allowed you to explore a huge open world section on Earth. I believe it's around 2 kilometers square, or 2 kilometers on each side.
Yeah.
And you would have to either get a special thing to get your Arcwing, which is basically a spacefaring jetpack, either that or a very specific warframe to fly around the area and get anywhere in any expedient manner. So, they're going to be releasing a new update called Fortuna very soon. And this time, instead of Earth, it takes place on a terraformed section of Venus, where you get to like actually hunt and tranquilize and capture creatures. You chase down leads. You get to fight Nef Anyo, which is a high-ranking member of one of the factions that you fight against called the Corpus. You get a fucking hoverboard. And they premiered the gameplay of this at TennoCon. Yeah, the game is so popular it has its own convention.
Yep.
But they premiered the hoverboard, and the crowd
Went like ape shit.
The crowd went Jay-Z and Beyonce.
The car.
You ever seen a crowd go ape shit?
I was about to talk about that line and my favorite line in that song.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
but they lost it. That is still not my favorite part.
What was your favorite part? I don't remember.
Oh, yes. There's also something else coming down the line, and I'm hoping that it comes out at the same time. It is a functionality called Railjack.
What was that again?
That was at the end of the Fortuna premiere. You see a bunch of energy balls falling from orbit because that section of the planet was still being bombarded by the Corpus. So a ship comes flying down out of the clouds, flying around, and then the protagonist bullet jumps into the ship. It is a ship that is controlled by multiple Tenno at once.
Yes.
Where one can pilot it, a couple can manage weapons.
And you can like step back from
You
piloting.
can change where the power is put in the ship. So if you need to move better, if you need to maximize power to your weapons or whatever. At one point, you got boarded by a couple of Corpus members, and somebody runs to the back, and there's like 4 or 5 goons back there, and you have to kill them and then put out the fires that they started from boarding the ship.
Yeah.
Eventually, one of them gets catapulted out into open space where they equip their Arcwing, fly into the enemy ship, shoot up a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And then move on to a force field where the person piloting the friendly ship has to go over to a hacking console, hacks the turrets behind the force field to shoot up people behind
that
it.
was so cool. I
And
like
then
that.
and then hacks the force fields on the ship. Like, it's so much teamwork.
Wasn't there like, didn't you put like a marker on their screen where you could fire at something? Firing at something, right?
I'm getting there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead.
Yeah, getting a little ahead.
I'm sorry. That was really cool.
It was, and I was standing because the first time my romantic interest, which, well, we can. Anyway, it was something very nerdy and very sweet. So I'm watching this, and I'm like on the edge of my seat, like, yo, this whole time, because the camera keeps flipping back and forth between the Tenno that's piloting the friendly ship and dodging hostile, fighters, whereas there's the Tenno that's on the enemy ship that is, shooting people on there and making their way through security. And then they finally get to the shield core on the ship. They scan it, which basically paints it as a target for the friendly ship.
There you go. That's what it was.
Which once the people on the friendly ship get the signal, they put all their power to weapons.
Yes.
Weapons to maximum power. Phasers to kill.
And whoever the fuck is on that ship.
And as you're scanning that, Nef Anyo, the Corpus leader that runs the ship, is like, somebody get my escape pod ready.
Yeah.
because he knew it was coming. So the person on the friendly ship turns it around, goes down into the hold, and charges up the big bad bitch laser.
The bad bitch laser.
And you just hear this ominous charging noise, blows up the shield core, and then the friendly one on there has to like sprint back, gets caught up by their Arcwing, and flies back to the friendly ship. And it's just, there's so much cooperation in this. It's got to be a team effort, and I'm hoping and praying that we at least get 6-10-0 on a mission like this, so we can have enough people piloting the ship, and like for people to go in twos onto the hostile ship, because that would just be amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see how far it goes. They also unlocked with that new expansion, there's going to be more things. With the introduction of the Plains of Eidolon feature, you were able to build your own melee weapon, which is called a Zaw. You could have a base, you could have a handle, you can have an edge or a blunt or whatever. Ooh, blunts. But in this one, they added you can build secondary weapons now. Which makes me wonder what's going to happen. Are you going to be able to build primary weapons on the third open world thing? Is there going to be a fourth open world thing where you can like build your own companion? Is there going to be like a fifth open world thing where you could like build your own Warframe? Whoa, what if you could build your own fucking Warframe though?
I don't know if you guys can see, and you guys can't see, but his eyeballs just increased like 3 times in size with every like open world he mentioned.
Okay, don't.
They did. You're like, you're like, what if?
But what if though? Like, do you realize
the possibilities after this expansion
are titillating?
Yeah,
they're quite titillating, and I am titillated.
Rebuke that.
Anyway, but yeah, said romantic interest has been playing the game pretty much since it came out, minus 6 months. Like, the game was out for 6 months, and then he started it. So he's seen it evolve.
Right, from like the beginning.
Oh my god, and it was so... I've seen some screenshots from like the first couple of editions of the game. It's damn near unrecognizable.
Wow. That's always...
Like, the map is in a different place, the font is different, the font is size different things have different powers. Bitches couldn't bullet jump in the original first few versions of the game, which, I mean, you can Google bullet jump, but long story short, the Warframe that you're piloting, if you have them do a bullet jump, they, like, do a corkscrew, like they jump and spin, and zoom about 20-30 feet.
Yeah.
You know, and it's pretty handy for mobility. But yeah, it's one of my favorite games, and I can't wait to see what becomes of it, because it's still a free game.
Right.
Granted, I've sunk unholy amounts of money into it, because you can pay for a certain type of in-game currency to buy things that you may occasionally need. But on the other hand, with enough grinding, you can actually earn said in-game currency. I'm just a lazy bitch sometimes. Well, because there's one frame that you have to build a very specific way. Her name is Equinox, where you have to pay attention to the game's clock and go kill a certain boss X amount of times in order to get all 3 pieces of her day form. Pay attention to the game's clock and see when it shifts to night. You know, when the game clock shifts to night, and then go beat that boss again to get all the pieces for the night form. And then build the night form, build the day form, and then build the 2 forms combined in order to make that frame. And I looked at that whole guide, pulled a sweet brow, and said, ain't nobody got time for that.
You know...
I worked overtime for 2 days, and then just paid for the... and then, used said overtime money, and ended up getting actually a coupon, too.
Really?
A 50% off coupon. So I bought Equinox like that, and she's actually one of my favorite frames.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I've sunk crazy amounts of money into a game like that before.
Yeah, no, it's at least $150 that I've sunk into that game.
I'm gonna say I've like sunken money into multiple games. Like, I wish I still had them. I don't have anything that runs them anymore, so I sold them. But y'all, I'm a granny, and I play fucking point and click Nancy Drew games like there's no tomorrow. These are like my favorite games of all fucking time. They had a bundle of all the ones they could salvage and remaster, because they started making games like the 90s. And all the ones that they could salvage and make like port to modern day, and plus all the ones they released up till like 2 years ago, they had on sale for like $100, I think. It was like 20-something games. You best believe when I was a kid, I like mowed lawns and watered lawns and walked dogs to pay for it.
Mm-hmm. You got your hustle on.
And that is the last time I've ever fucking did that. Anybody wants to give me some fucking Nancy Drew shit?
You know,
I'll
you know where to
P.O.
email
box.
us. You can email us too.
Yeah, please. But yeah, just that trailer was the shit when I watched it.
It really was.
And I didn't even know anything about Warframe. I was like, holy shit, this is actually really cool.
It's so lit. I'm excited. So, the time has come.
Can I do the thing?
To lip sync for your life. I'm kidding. It's
another thing, you know, my favorite fucking thing to do ever.
Oh, who's going first?
You go first.
Okay. I'm going to try to stay calm, and I'm going to apologize in advance because I know for a fact I'm going to end up going on a string of consciousness, and that may involve some body shaming. Please don't at me.
You're gonna stay calm after that sound effect I just did. You better go extra.
Oh no, I didn't say I was going to stay calm. I said I'm going to try to start calm.
Try to start calm. So, go in.
All right. So I don't even remember what city this is in right now, but there's a video that surfaced of some rail-thin Taylor Swift pancake booty having bitch who had the entire Caucasian nerve to call the cops on an entire 9-year-old who accidentally brushed past her in a fucking store and tried to claim sexual harassment. Now, we've said before on this show that when you're that old, people, you know what you like. But at the same time, unless there's been some kind of trauma in your past, you're not going to know what to do. So anything you do should not be viewed as sexual in the slightest. How the fuck ever. What the icing on this cake is that the closed circuit the CCTV footage came out from the store. And the kid literally just pushed past her to get to his mom. So he did absolutely nothing wrong. And yet this bitch is on the phone trying to talk to the cops, try to get them to arrest this little boy, and he is screaming and crying behind his mom. Do you realize what the fuck that looks just like? It looks like a modern version of Emmett Till.
I was about to say that we forget about Emmett Till already.
And it's yet another white woman lying on a black child.
Lying, just like the first one did.
And yeah, she can burn in hell. And the fact of the matter is, I'd almost wonder whether or not that would happen again if we didn't have all these cameras and stuff to keep these bitches in check. Because, like, we already don't get looked at as innocent in any way, shape, or form. Or need we bring up Tamir Rice again, who was a smooth 12 years old and got lit the hell up by some police, who, by the way, got another job as a cop.
Yep.
Somehow.
I forget if it was in the same state or not, but
it was in the same state. It's still in Ohio.
Again.
He got hired again. Someone who rolled up and lit up a preteen somehow got another job like this. Like, are these cops just taking the same page from the fucking Catholic Church's book or something? Where they keep, saying, oh no, you've touched children. Let's not prosecute. Let's actually just move you to a different parish. And hopefully everyone will actually forget. Yeah. And this thing's been going on forever and ever and ever, and nothing fucking changes. And people wonder why. I flat out ask, why are there still Catholics? Why is the Catholic Church still a thing? This has been going on longer than the two of us have been alive combined. And yet the Catholic Church is still a thing. Why is it still a thing? I get that there's some kind of tradition behind it, but Jesus fucking Christ.
No pun intended.
Pun slightly intended. Fuck. But that's not even my main point. My main point is the fact that some bootleg-ass, great value-ass, olive oil with stringy hair decided to try to fix her minimal-ass lips to talk bad about this child who's hiding behind his mother and fucking terrified.
He's 9. Like, he was 9 years old, man. Why are you calling the cops on a night? You know what you're doing.
She knows exactly what we're doing. She knows exactly what she's doing.
And everybody else who sides with her, y'all know what she was doing. And everybody else who does it, who has done it and has been trying to do it in the wake of this wave of people calling the police on black people and getting shit for it.
For no fucking reason.
Y'all know what y'all are doing. I cite the video of the guy getting arrested in the airport. And, like, it was...
Are you talking about that bitch? I was like, this is how you treat me like I'm black.
Yeah, when he said you treat me like a black person. Like, y'all know exactly what you're doing. And you know exactly what's going to happen to us. And you don't
care.
You could give 2 fucks.
And that's the problem, bitch. The police are not your customer service line. We are not your product to be wrangled into submission.
Right. Or death. One of the two.
I mean, you're
Or
going to
both.
submit if you're dead. You don't really have a choice. You're fucking dead.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's part of why people have so much problem with the phrase Black Lives Matter, because clearly they don't.
Yeah, they don't. They don't feel included. They feel like they're not at the center of the attention, so they're like, oh, I'm sorry, well, I believe it. Well, no one asked you.
Yeah.
If you don't understand what Black Lives Matter actually means, and you're just reading it from the surface,
Then
you
you're
are
doing it
part of the problem.
Yes, Caroline. Anyway, so that was my little thing. What about you?
Alright, so, some bitch in fucking, where was it? Fucking Marietta, Georgia, calls the police on a black man. You want to know the reason why, kids? Because he had 2 white kids in his car that he was babysitting. And according to her on the police call, it didn't look right. Excuse me.
So we can do that for hundreds of years, watch your motherfucking kids, and now that it's happening now, we're being
all
responsible.
of a sudden, a black man's got white kids in his car. He's got to be kidnapping them. It was white parents who hired the guy to babysit the kids. I don't remember if he had repeatedly babysat them before. I haven't read that deep into it.
That shouldn't matter.
But the fact of the matter is, you felt so comfortable in your fucking
Caucasity.
unseasoned caucasity to call the cops on a black man because it didn't look right that he was with white kids. I'm sorry, what?
Didn't look right how, Bethany?
AKA, I don't even know what to make of that. AKA, black man with white kids. Black people don't have white kids. Something's wrong there.
Some
bitch.
of us are rich enough to actually adopt.
Ooh, the kids that y'all don't want to take care of. That y'all dump on the fucking porches of
That you're too busy
orphanages.
fucking your sister cousin to make.
That shit don't add up.
So, by the time that video crossed my timeline, I was already so tired.
Apparently, I wanted to try and find it. I'm best believe I'm gonna fucking play it. The 911 call. If I could find that somewhere, we're listening to it.
Okay. In the meantime, while Vesta tries to pull that up, the other thing...
Found it. Go on.
Oh, okay. I was just going to actually bring up Becky with the bulldog, who followed the guy up to his downtown loft apartment. I forget what city.
Oh yeah. You were just showing
That
me
we were just looking at on the break, where she's like, I don't know what unit you live in. I don't know what unit. Okay, like, girl,
Like, bitch.
I live here.
And?
Like, bitch, I live here. I have a key to get in. Why does it matter to you?
Right.
I just want to know. I just need to know.
No, you don't.
No, you don't, girl. I don't see a security badge.
Unless you're paying the rent.
Unless you're paying my rent, you don't need to know where I live. And last I checked, I don't see a security bag on you or your little bitch down there on the leash. So you and your blonde and your bitch can go elsewhere because I did not subscribe. I am not going to feature. I did not subscribe to that nonsense. I am not going to feature. Just get that away from me, please. Because, like, how the fuck dare you? She was blocking the whole entire entrance for him to get into a place that he pays rent for. Please believe that if Becky with the bulldog tried to block me, do you know that I would just be like, oh, well, you're going to either let me in to my place of residence that I pay rent for, pay my rent, or get moved.
Right. Like, I was, bitch. I would have shoved you.
Oh no,
so
I wouldn't have shoved.
Yeah, see,
I am colossal and can just walk through her.
say yeah. I mean, I'll shove a bitch out the way if I need to. Honestly, if I was in that situation, you could just walk through them and just you could walk them into non-existence.
Yeah, because my thing is that I'm extremely cognizant and careful with my strength and size. So she'll get plenty of chances, plenty of opportunities of excuse me, I live here. I need to get in. I have to use the bathroom. Please move. Okay, I need you to move. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Your dog collie still needs to pee. Okay, you've got about 5 seconds to get out of my way before this gets physical.
Yep.
And then by that point, I'm going to have to channel my inner Ludacris. Do you not know what I'm referencing?
I was waiting for you to do it.
No. Just to spite you, I'm not going to do it.
Wow, we're fighting. But anyway.
Move, bitch! Get out the way.
You can collect your check on Friday. You're fired from this podcast. But back to this fucking police call. I hope it's not just a whole ass report and it's just a police call.
See this black gentleman with these two little white kids. So I just had a funny feeling. I said, these kids didn't go boy with nice.
All right. That's probably just 2 quotes from the phone call. But she said, "This is." What did she say? Just this black gentleman with these 2 white kids.
And I just got a funny feeling.
Got a funny feeling. Okay, Mary
That's
Ellen.
called racism.
Yeah, okay,
Bethany
Mary
Sue.
Girl, sit your ass in your dusty ass car and go get some unseasoned chicken breast and ambrosia
and choke.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, either get your mind right or get gone, because I'm tired of stomaching white nonsense. I really am. Mm-hmm. Like, have you ever heard of that experiment where you make yourself not step out of the way when you're walking on the street?
Yes, and a million people would bump into you.
Yeah. One of these days, I'm just going to try that and see how many people just bounce off of my frame.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to do that, but...
Yeah, we can't do it together, though. We will block off a whole ass sidewalk.
The whole sidewalk.
But like I've said before on this show, and I'm probably going to continue to say again, I know we can do better.
Yep.
Can we give it a try? Aren't y'all tired of being not shit?
Apparently not.
Like,
it's a little too easy.
Anyway.
That wrap it up?
I believe it does. I think we kind of flew through the show today.
Yeah. Well, you got a plan.
Yeah, I had a plan. Yeah, and I need to probably, I don't know. I'm going to keep editing that because we made a couple of changes to the format. Mm-hmm. But, we'll see how it goes. We'll keep going.
Yeah.
But that was our episode of The Baldwin Kids. Give us a like on Facebook. The Baldwin Kids Podcast. Go ahead and follow us on YouTube and SoundCloud, both the Baldwin Kids Podcast. If you have any questions, comments, great ideas, anything you'd like to talk about for mental health things, you can shoot us an email at askthebkcast@gmail.com.
Send your edges, send your cookies, and like I said, I'm not joking about that Nancy Drew thing. If any of y'all want to just send me some games, I'm so down.
Send some edibles.
Lots of those. CBD if you like, please.
Yeah. Or, send some cold medicine because we're both getting over some shit.
Illinois don't fuck around. If you want to reach me on my personal Instagram and just look at my face for a couple hundred pictures, it is house_of_fire.
And if you'd like to get a hold of me, you can shoot me a DM on Twitter. Slide into them DMs. My handle is at The Iron Magnus. That's THEIRONMAGNUS on Twitter. And like I said, Vesta and I both run the Facebook page.
Yeah. So lots of stuff going on there. We're gonna start doing polls and stuff too. That'll probably help with the mental health bit.
Little
bit. Anything else really.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear from everybody. Tell us how the show goes. Tell us how you like. Tell us what you want us to change. Tell us that we need to fix this, that, or the third thing about our recording situation.
Yeah.
Give us tips, give us tricks. We're open to making changes to try to make this as palatable to the listener as possible.
Yeah.
If you want to hear me do more of my voices and accents, feel free to say that as well.
Please don't do this to me.
Please don't do this to me. This will be perfect.
We're not silver sabling today. On that note,
this will be perfect for Vietnamese self-election. Oh my God.
We'll see y'all in 2 more weeks.
Okay, before Vesta turns into a puddle.
Bye.
All right, bye y'all.